Hello everyone, welcome back to Learn Economia. In this video, we'll be discussing the ISLM model. Since the topic is a bit lengthy, what I've done is that I have divided this topic into different parts so that we will be getting an overall understanding of the topic bit by bit. Okay. So with that, let's get started. It's very important to know that ISLM is something is actually which ISLM is something that involves a combination of both the good market and money market. So before going into what ISLM is, let's understand what IS and LM are separately. Okay. So let's come back to the case of IS. Okay, what IS is and what does IS represent? The IS schedule, it represents the good market. Now, it shows the different combination of interest rates and levels of output so that the plant or desired spending or expenditure equals income. Now, the goods market equilibrium, we know that it's actually a schedule or it is a simple extension of the income determination with a 45-degree line. Now, the investment is actually no longer fully exogenous, but it is determined by the rate of interest, which is a policy variable. Now, here I stands for investment and S stands for saving. Now, a typical investment schedule is actually considered to be a demand schedule, and it shows the planned level of investment or the planned level of spending at each level of rate of interest. Now, since the higher rate of interest reduces the profitability of additions to the capital stock, this would imply a lower planned rate of investment spending or changes in autonomous investment shift the IS schedule. This is something very important to note. The investment function is expressed as I is equal to I bar minus CR, where C is actually greater than 0 and R is the rate of interest, and this measures the interest response of investment, and I bar denotes autonomous investment, and when I say autonomous investment, this investment is independent of the income that you have. Now, if you look at this diagram, or if you look at this flowchart, you'll get an understanding of how the overall ISLM model works. So this actually gives you a better understanding of the ISLM model. What we are going to look at it is the we'll be providing an explanation of this overall flowchart by going for section by section. Okay, so this is the investment curve, or this is a planned investment curve, and the planned investment curve actually it states that it is the function of your interest rate. The lower the interest rate, higher is your planned investment, and here C actually looks at the responsiveness of investment spending to the rate of interest. Okay, so we have seen a formula where we had C and R represent the rate of interest, and here C actually measures the coefficient of responsiveness of investment spending. Now, if you look at this figure, you can see that how we could derive this IS curve. Okay, so here R1 at the rate of interest R1 equilibrium in the good market is achieved at point E in the upper part of the diagram, or in the figure you could see that and at the corresponding to that corresponding to the equilibrium level E, you have the income level, which is Y1. And in the lower part of the diagram, you could see that corresponding to point E, you have point E dash, and now a fall in the interest rate. Just assume that interest rates has fallen, and a fall in the interest rate to R2. At this position, what happens is that the aggregate demand would be risen, and this would increase the level of spending at each level of income. Now, here we could see that the new level of equilibrium is Y2. So, the equilibrium level of income, the new equilibrium level of income is Y2, and in the lower part corresponding to that, you could see that the equilibrium in the good market, which is corresponding to the interest rate R2, and the IS curve is actually the locus of points showing the alternating combinations of interest rate and income at which the commodity market clears. Okay. So this is the main reason why IS curve is known as a commodity market equilibrium schedule. Now we can gain some further insights into the IS curve by raising certain questions. Okay, we can ask what determines the slope of the IS curve and what determines the position of the IS curve given the slope, and what would cause the IS curve to shift. And also we can ask what happens when the interest rate and income are at different levels such that we are off the IS curve. Okay. So for that we have to understand the properties of IS curve. What are the properties of IS curve? First of all, with respect to the slope of the IS curve, we can see that the IS curve is actually a negatively sloped curve. This is mainly because a higher level of interest rate reduces your investment spending, and as a result, the aggregate demand and the equilibrium level of income would also be influenced. Now, the steepness of the curve actually depends on the rate interest elasticity of investment. When I say interest elasticity of investment, it means how sensitive investment spending is to changes in interest rate. When interest rate increases or decreases, what would be or how to what is the magnitude of changes in investment as a result of changes in interest rate. So and also we have to understand the investment multiplier. We know what investment multiplier is. We have already done a video on the investment multiplier by Keynes. If you have not watched the video, I'll be giving the description. I will be giving the link of the same in the description box so that you can use the link and watch the video. Okay. So having understood the slope of the IS curve, we have to understand the position of the IS curve. Now, the position of IS curve depends on the level of autonomous spending. When I say autonomous spending, it is actually something which is independent of the level of your income. So, if the autonomous spending increases, the IS curve will shift to right. The change, we can either expect a change in slope, or it is not necessary that the slope of the IS curve would change, but you can see that this would actually, whether the slope changes or not, it would depend upon the interest elasticity of investment. Okay. Now, the position of the IS curve. Now, if you look at the figure given in the other side, you can see that at point G, the national income is same as point E. So we have the same level of income at two different levels. Only the rate of interest has changed. I mean, the rate of interest has fallen to R2. R2 is the lower level of interest rate, and R1 is the higher level of interest rate. And consequently, you will see that the demand for investment is higher at point E, and the demand for commodities is therefore highest at point E. Okay. And simply this means that the demand for goods must exceed the level of output, so that there is an excess demand for goods which is indicated by the area EDG. Okay. And likewise, you can see that at point H, the rate of interest is higher than that of F, and there is an excess supply of goods here. Now, in this figure, we could see that the points above and to the right of IS curve are like H, and these are points of excess supply of goods. And by contrast, the points the points which are below and to the right of IS curve shows the excess demand for goods. And at point G, for instance, the interest rate is too low and the aggregate demand is very high, or relatively high, or high relative to your level of output. Now, if you look at certain points which are very important when you are concerned about IS curve, we can see that IS curve is a schedule of, or it shows different combinations of interest rates and level of income such that the good market would come in equilibrium. And IS is a negatively sloped curve. We have seen that this is mainly because an increase in the interest rate reduces the planned or desired investment spending, and therefore it reduces aggregate demand and lower the equilibrium level of income. The smaller the multiplier effect, the less sensitive is the investment spending is to changes in the interest rate, the steeper is the IS curve. Okay. Now, the IS curve is shifted by the changes in autonomous spending and also an increase in autonomous spending such as investment spending and government spending. It shifts IS curve to the right. You have to understand the position to which the IS curve is shifting. Okay. At points which are to the right of IS curve, there is excess supply of goods, or if there is an excess supply existing in the good market, and at the points, if you look at the points which are left and left to the IS curve, these points indicate excess demand for goods. Now, having discussed the IS curve, we have to understand the LM curve. LM curve shows money market equilibrium. We have seen the goods market equilibrium when you look at the IS curve, but when you look at the LM curve, actually it represents the money market equilibrium. Now, the financial market actually refers to the market where you deal with money, bonds, stocks, and other forms of income earning assets or income generating assets. Now, here we restrict ourselves to the money market. We are not concerned about the goods market. When you say LM curve, we are just concerned about the money market. And to study the equilibrium in the money market, we have to refer to both the sides of the market, the demand side and the supply side. Now, the supply, which indicates nominal quantity of money, which is determined by the central bank. And in the case of India, we have the Reserve Bank of India to deal with the supply of money. So we assume that this is given by or this is given at the level which is indicated by M. Now, if you look at the figure, you will see that the demand for money is a function of interest rate on real income, and the money demand is expressed as L is equal to KPY minus HR in KH, where we have K and H it's K and H are greater than 0. The parameters K and H actually reflect the sensitivity of demand for money to the level of income Y and the rate of interest R respectively. K indicates the sensitivity of demand for money to the level of income, and H indicates the sensitivity of demand for money with respect to interest rate. Now, the demand for money, when you say demand for money, we are looking at the liquidity preference, and this is drawn from the figure, and actually this is considered to be a function of interest rate. You know, the speculative demand for money and all, where how your speculative demand for money is influenced by your rate of interest. All these things are discussed in the Keynesian demand for money video. If you haven't watched that video, I request you to go and watch the video. I'll be providing the link of the same in the description box so that you can use that. So coming back to this concept of LM, the higher the rate of interest, you can see that the lower the quantity of money is demanded at a fixed level of income, and an increase in income would definitely raise the demand for money. And this is shown by the rightward shift of your demand schedule. And there are two figures given in diagram which are indicated in the other side of the slide. You can see that the right hand part of the diagram shows the money market, and the supply of money, it is a vertical line M, since it is fixed by the central bank. Okay, so it is vertical, we cannot change the supply of money, and the supply of money is given by M. The two demand for money curves, which are L1 and L2, this correspond to two different levels of income, and when the income level is Y1, the demand curve, the corresponding demand point is L1, and the rate of interest is M. This gives the point E on the LM schedule, and at a higher level of income, which is Y2, we know that Y1 is higher than Y2 is higher than Y1, so Y2 is the higher level of income. The equilibrium rate of interest is R2 corresponding to Y2, and this would yield a point F in the schedule or on the LM schedule or LM curve. The LM curve, as we could see in the case of the IS curve, here in the LM curve, this is a locus of points showing the alternating combination of rate of interest and level of income that would bring equilibrium in the money market. Whereas in the case of IS, it would show the alternating combinations of rate of interest and level of income that would bring equilibrium in the real market, the goods market. Now, in other words, you could see that the LM curve or the LM schedule or the money market equilibrium schedule shows all the combination of interest rates and level of income such that the demand for money is equal to the supply of money. Now, coming to the properties of LM curve. The properties of LM curve, when you say property, you have to understand about the slope of the LM curve. We have seen that the LM curve is a curve which is positively sloped, and it means the increase in the interest rate would reduce the demand for money. When I say demand for money, the demand for money in the sense that holding of cash, liquid cash in your hand. Now, to maintain the demand for money, which is equal to the supply, the level of income has to rise. Accordingly, the money market equilibrium would imply that an increase in the rate of interest is accompanied by an increase in the level of income. The greater the responsiveness of demand for money to income, which is measured by K and all, the lower the responsiveness of demand for money to the rate of interest, and this is measured by H. In this case, the steeper would be the LM curve. In fact, you could see that given the change in the income, which is indicated by delta Y, this will have a larger effect upon the interest rate R. The larger is the K, the smaller is the H. Okay, these are the conditions. So, if the demand for money is fairly inelastic, then H is very much close to 0 and LM curve is very nearly vertical. If the demand for money is fairly elastic, which means that it is very much sensitive to the rate of interest, so that H is high and the LM curve would be horizontal. In this case, or in the case of these kinds of changes, you can see the small change in the rate of interest must be accompanied by a large change in the level of income in order to maintain some money market equilibrium. Coming to the position of the LM curve, we have seen that the money supply is held constant by the central bank of a country, and it follows that the change in money supply would shift the LM curve, which is indicated in the figure. An increase in the quantity of money in circulation shift the curve from M1 to M2, that is, the money supply has increased, right? Now, to restore the equilibrium at the initial level of income, the initial level of income was Y1, and the equilibrium rate of interest has to fall to R2. So in this part, in the part of the diagram which is indicated by the panel A, we could see that the point F has, so F, this indicates a point on the new LM schedule which is corresponding to the higher money stock. Thus, an increase in the money stock would shift the LM curve to the right, and at each level of income, the equilibrium rate of interest has to lower to induce the people to hold a larger quantity of money. Alternatively, at each level of interest rate, the level of income has to be higher so that it would raise the demand for money and thereby absorb the extra liquid cash in the economy or extra money supply by the central bank of the country. Now, coming to the positions of the LM curve. This is indicated by the same figure. If you look at the points above and to the left of the curve, this shows the excess supply of money, and the points below and right of the curve shows the excess demand for money. And starting from point E in the panel A, you can see that an increase in income would take us to point H. And at point H, what happens is that there is an excess demand for money, and thus at point H there is an excess demand for money. At by similar argument, if we go with that, we can start at point F and move to point G at which the level of income is lower, and this would create an excess supply of money. Now, coming to certain important points which are very important when you deal with this LM curve, you have to see that the LM curve is a schedule which take into consideration all the combination of interest rates and level of income, so that there is equilibrium in the money market, and LM curve is positively sloped. If the fixed money supply is given, an increase in the level of income would increase the quantity of money demanded, and this would be accompanied by an increase in the rate of interest, which would reduce the quantity of money demanded and thereby maintains the money market equilibrium. An increase in the supply of money would shift the LM curve to the right, and at all the points to the right of the LM curve, and there exists demand for money, there exists excess demand for money, and at all the points which are to the left, there exists some excess supply of money. Now, coming to the macroeconomic general equilibrium model, by using this IS-LM approach, you can see that if the IS and LM are used simultaneously, you could get simultaneous equilibrium in the real market and money market, so that in the simultaneous equilibrium situation, you will be getting a particular interest rate and particular level of income, so that this would be this level of income and this level of interest rate would simultaneously equilibrate both the money market as well as the real market. Now, this shows that in the figure, you could see that the rate of interest and the level of output are determined by the interaction of both the curves, and the equilibrium is attained at point E, and the interest rate corresponding to the equilibrium level is R0, and the income level corresponding, or the equilibrium level of income, is Y0. Now, coming to the changes in the equilibrium levels of income and interest, what would happen if there is any change in the equilibrium level of income or the interest rate? When the equilibrium level of income and interest rate change, either the IS curve or the LM curve will shift to a new position, either left or right. In this figure, you can see what would happen if there is any change. For example, this shows the effects of an increase in the autonomous spending. What would happen if there is any increase in the autonomous spending? We have already seen that this would have its impact upon the equilibrium levels of interest rate and the levels of investment, the income. This is mainly because an equilibrium level of autonomous spending, an equilibrium level with respect to the money market and real market would be changed as a result of an increase in the autonomous spending, because an increase in the autonomous spending would shift the IS curve to the right, because since there is an increase, it would be shifting the IS curve to the right. And as a result of the national income increase, the equilibrium level of national income rises. And but you can see that the increase in income, which is indicated by delta y, this is less than the given Keynesian investment multiplier, because the interest rate increase and the shock of investment demand. Now, the reason is easy to find out, because the increase in autonomous spending, there is no doubt that your income will increase, but an increase in income increases demand for money. With the fixed supply of money, the interest rate has to rise in order to ensure the demand for money stays equal to the fixed supply. When the interest rate rises, what would happen? Investment spending would be reduced because the investment is negatively related to rate of interest. So the first part is over. We will be continuing with the ISLM model. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, share and subscribe the channel for more videos. And you are very much welcome to my Telegram group and Telegram channel to discuss your doubt and clarify the same.